What's up, my YouTube family? Welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and in today's video, my friends, I'm going to be showing you one of my favorite builds based around the Vile Mask, the Pestilence LMG, and the Eclipse Protocol gear set. Now, if you do not have the mask as yet, the good news is that during this seasonal replay, it is a guaranteed drop at level 90. As far as the Pestilence goes, you can farm for it anywhere the LMG is the targeted loot, whether it's in the summit or in the open world. Now, I will leave a link to a farming video I just put together last week showing you some of my favorite methods to get exotics in the game. One of the things I mention at the beginning of every build video I put together is I want to remind new and returning players that this is just a template. This is one of so many different ways you can run with a build like this. The most important thing is to truly take your time when putting it together and really make the thing your own. You may look at this build and decide, you know what, I like it, but I want more armor and less weapon damage, or vice versa. You may want to use different skills. Again, truly cater something towards your game style. Now, you can see by the gameplay, I'm running a bounty on heroic difficulty, and you're just shredding through NPCs. And this is a build I use solo or in a group. Now, as always, I'm starting off with a little bit of gameplay footage. Then we'll get into the build breakdown itself, and then after that, a little more footage. And at that point, I like to pass along a few tips and tricks to new and returning players, which should hopefully help you out anytime you're trying out a new build. One of the things I recommend is have a few different variations of a build. You know, have one for solo play, have one for group, because obviously in a group the enemy scaling is going to be higher. You know, I have a version of this where I use the Scorpio instead of the Pestilence, so again, you have so many different options to choose from. Starting off with a specialization, for this version of the build, I'm using the Technician so I get that extra skill tier. Now, regardless of which specialization you choose, always make sure you have the proper weapons activated in your weapon skill tree. That way you're going to get a 15% weapon damage bonus regardless of which weapon you have equipped. My primary weapon for this build is the Pestilence LMG. In my opinion, it is still one of the best weapons in the game because of its talent Plague of the Outcast. Hits apply a debuff dealing 100% weapon damage over 10 seconds. This stacks up to 50 times. Whenever an enemy dies with this debuff, all stacks are transferred to a nearby enemy within 25 meters. Now, for my secondary weapon, I usually run with an SMG. However, after I put this footage together, I realized I had the wrong talent on the weapon. I usually run with the talent Ignited or in Sync, because Ignited is going to give you that weapon damage because you're lighting, NPCs on fire using your fire chem launcher. And in Sync obviously gives you an insane damage bonus with your skills and your weapons as well, so either of those would work perfectly fine here. I don't really use the handgun too often with this build. However, again, I would recommend the talent Ignited or in Sync. I'm using Close and Personal. Now for the gear itself, onto the Vile Mask. And again, to be clear, for those of you that do not have it, it is a guaranteed drop in the current seasonal replay at level 90. You can see here what makes this mask so effective is its talent Toxic Delivery. Status effects also apply a damage over time debuff for 10 seconds. Total damage dealt is equal to 50% of your concussion grenade damage and increased by your status effect attributes. Continuing on to the Eclipse Protocol gear set, you can see we're using all 4 pieces, so we get all of the gear set bonuses. The 2-piece gives you 15% status effect, 3-piece gives you 15% skill haste and 30% hazard protection, and 4-piece is indirect transmission. Your status effects now spread on kill to all enemies within 10 meters and refresh 50% of the duration. Now, having an Eclipse chest piece equipped also gives you the talent Proliferation. It increases indirect transmission range from 10 meters to 15 meters and refresh percentage from 50% to 75%. Moving on to the holster and the knee pads, they are 2 more pieces of the Eclipse gear set. Now, what I've chosen to do is I've re-rolled the core attribute to armor for this piece. As you can see, status effect can still be improved. I need to spend the resources to do that. And for the knee pads, I've chosen to have weapon damage here for a balance. Again, really try out different builds, see what you need for survivability, for taking out NPCs, and then choose where you want your armor and weapon damage balance to be. Now we have the Contractors Gloves, which I absolutely love. It gives you an LMG damage bonus. That damage to armor bonus is a monster. Now, looking at that bottom attribute, honestly, I should have changed that to status effect. I totally forgot. I have 1 pair of these gloves that I kind of rotate between builds, so again, I would make that choice where I pull crit hit damage to status effect. Last but not least, my friends, we have the backpack, which is the fourth and final piece of the Eclipse Protocol gear set. Now you can see once again I'm stacking status effect and skill haste, and when you use the bag, it gives you the talent system aggravator, which amplifies all damage you deal to status affected targets by 30%. So this is a must-have for the build without a doubt. Like, you could probably switch out the chest for something else if you wanted, but you definitely want to have the bag equipped. As far as my skills are concerned, I'm using the Firestarter Chem Launcher, which is taking me a minute to get used to. It's been a while since I've used it. I've kind of lit myself on fire a few times, but it is definitely one of the most beneficial skills to use with a build like this. I'm also using the Assault Drone because it is a great distraction to NPC and puts out damage as well. Now at this point, I want to pass along a few tips to new and returning players, which should hopefully help you out anytime you're trying out a new build. And one of the best things to do, in my opinion, is go to a mission or a control point that you're comfortable with so you know the timing of the NPC, because at that point you can truly see how the build responds to your gameplay and you can make any changes you need to make accordingly. I also recommend, as I said earlier, to have a few different versions of this build. Let's say one for solo, one for group, because for solo you could sit around 900,000 armor. For group you may want 1.3, so again, have a few ready so you're really good to go no matter what situation you're put in. Most of you know by now that one of my favorite aspects about putting build videos together is the family we have at the channel, so as always, please, if you have any questions, comments, feedback, ways you like to run with a build like this, let me know in the comments section down below, as the main goal is to try to help people out in any way we can. With all that being said, I'm going to start to wrap this video up. As always, I want to take a moment and thank you all for the incredible support you have and continue to show me at this channel, and remind you, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well, but most importantly, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.
You're coming up on the central area, and it looks like they've sealed the gate.
Then you're gonna have to find a way to unseal it.
Those outside have sacrificed themselves for you.
Be careful. They're bound to be expecting you.